Hello, beautiful people. I hope you are all fine. So, we are coming in our part two phase, in which we will learn that how we can add our and other voices like Google have provided us. So, I have showed you in my last video that we have these a lot of voices that we can use in our project, and we can check them one by one. And they have their other accents like Indian accents.
With cloud machine learning, your application interprets images, texts, and more.
So we have these voices and we can list them in our this project so that we can just select them, select any of the voice, and after it, and whenever we will create after selecting the voice, so we will have this voice in our output. So for this time I have just created, let's create it again. Okay,
I love coding and building a new application.
we have just selected just our one voice, so let's get started. Let's go to in our code editor in our backend, and we have these our voices already here. We have to create another API endpoint. Okay, we have our Google client, and we will create another path like app dot get ts. We can say get voices, request and response. These two parameters we have, and after that it is so easy. Let's call voices Google client. Mm, Actually, we are creating a Google account there, but we can create it outside. But uh, let's create it again. It's fine, and we will make it async function, async, and then Google client dot voices. There is list voices, and we will add an empty object for this time. And after that, we will have our voices, and we can return them. Return rest dot uh, status will be 200, and JSON, and we can say that voices is equal to voices. Okay, so this API endpoint has been created. What have we have to do? We will use this API endpoint in our front end. So let's go in our front end here. Uh, we can create another uh, component so that we don't create such a mess in this component. So let's create another component, voices.jsx, same call method, function, voices. We can create voices component. Okay, and we can add two argument here because we have to get that which voice has been selected. Okay, let it go. No, I will not make you confuse here. Okay, we return our JSX, and let's say it voices, and we will call this function inside our main function on a side. Okay, we have our this JSX. This time it is in the center. We will create an fragment here, and let's call it here. I think it's better to have div, and let's call this component here voices component. We will pass some arguments, but later. Let's call this list and let's see where it is located. Okay, we have this voices, but we want to make it side by side. Okay, this is not the CSS tutorial, so I will pause and I will just settle its place so that it's not waste your time. Okay, so we have added some basic CSS, not too fancy because my focus is on the project and the logics. So you are smart enough to add the CSS, you can add accordingly. And after this, we will import the exist because we have to call a third party request axios from exist. Okay, and then we will add a loading here because we need loading also. Set loading, use state calls, create a function get voices, const. We need to keep it in try and catch so that we can handle the errors. Const results axios. One more thing that we need to create an async function so that we can use await because it is more clean. Let's call, we can copy it from our old component because we have exist there. We can use this. Now we can update because we have get method this time, tts and voices. Let's check it again if we are going well. Okay, it is get voices. Get voices. Okay. Okay, so we have get voices results, and what we have to do, we have to console that how our this response looks like results, and if we have any error then we can alert. Okay, this error is not right. Error. Okay, error dot message or internal server error, and console.log. I think error will be better. Error. Okay, so this code has been written, and okay, so we have the loading. We can add the loading also. Load if we have the loading, and we will display loading h6 loading. I hope you are familiar with the this ternary operator. Otherwise, we will add a response. This time we will not load the response, but we can write it just simple. We will add the components here. Okay, we have to create set loading true, and we have to make as the request has been completed. Most of us we don't know about the use of finally because we know that finally runs whenever this all code works. So uh, our try block runs when the code is fine, and if there is error in the try, then catch works, and if and after that this is the finally block which always runs. So here we can add the loading false Okay, so this is one use I know of the finally. Okay, we have get voices and we have to call this function, so we can call it during on the first when the component loads. So let's call this function. Okay, it's fine now. Hmm. Okay, one more thing. Let's check. Okay, why it is giving the 304 error? Let's check. Okay, it is saying that we have response. Let's check if our loading is working. Okay, loading and response. Let's check our. Okay, so we have our response. We have data. We have the voices, and this is 589 voices we have, and we have to check that what schema we have. Okay, so Google is giving us the name of the voice, the natural sample, it's a hertz, SSL gender, and this language code. But there is one problem that we need a URL uh, so that we can display these voices and we can use and we can check it one by one that which voice we have now. But unfortunately, Google don't give us, so we have a hack that how we can get or create our URL. So we can go it here, and as we are developer that we can inspect this element that how this link is being created. So let's get it that how the Google itself is creating this link, and we will go in our this tab. So I will make it a bit zoom. Okay. So we have this audio tag. You can we can inspect it, and after inspection that we see that this is the URL we are creating. If we will click on it, or if okay, static and Google. Okay, so we have in actual this URL. We will copy it here, copy, and we paste it here, and let's check it. I think this is the base URL we have, and paste it here. Okay, if we press enter here,
With cloud machine
now we
learning,
have
your
this
application
link we got.
interprets images.
So how this link look like? So this link is same we have, and this is, if we will see, this is the voice name what we get in our response, this one. So if we will use this URL, and after that we will add this name and embed with this string. So and after that we have to embed this extension as well, and when we can create it dynamically and we can display. So this is how we can create this link, and this is how we will display these voices in our application. So let's create this dynamic links. Okay, and okay, so we have our results here, and let's add it in our voices. Set voices, use state, it will be empty in start, and we will set our state here. Set voices, and it will be the results dot data. We will add a chaining here so that if we have error, so our application does not crash. Data, and we have voices, but we will still check either we are going wrong, going right. Okay, so no, no, no. we have voices, data, and in data we have voices, and we have again an object with voices. So it's two times voices because Google also return us an object, and we can check it that we have that we have data and voices in our that state or not. So this time we will console it again, and let's try. Okay, voices. Okay, we did not get the data. I think we have did something wrong. Let's check with these voices again. Okay, actually it is an array, uh, and it is placed in our zeroth element. Okay, so we have our voices now. This is the you can check it, and let's delete these console statements, and after that we have to loop through our these voices. So we are not focusing on the CSS, but we will load all of our voices, and this is here we will get our all the voices listed here, and after that we will add a on select button handler, and we will return this voice here, and after that we will send our this voice reference in our this API. Okay, let's say selected voice and set selected voice. Initially state use state. Let's make it null. Initially we do not have any voice, and we will pause this in our this component. Selected voice is equal to selected voice, and set selected voice will be a function so that we can select it in our parent component. And let's copy it here. This reference as well. Okay, we have these. Let's list it there. Voices dot map. Let me make it voice. Okay, P1. We can add the voice name here. Voice dot name, and then SSL Eclipse SSML gender, and now we can copy this code here. This is audio. Mm, Copy element. We need to close. We have to make it dynamic as we have discussed earlier. And this is our base URL. We need to copy it. Okay, so we have name, SSL, gender, and we need to make it dynamic as well. Voice dot name, audio and wave. Okay, let's check it. That what we have. Okay, so we have name and female. Why we do not have our audio player? Let's figure out. Okay, let's try this. Maybe this is making any problem. Okay, yeah, this was the problem. So let's check it that we can play them or not. Okay,
مع كلاود ماشين ليرنينج، سوف تتمكن تطبيقاتك من معالجة وفهم الصور والنصوص
okay,
وغيرها.
okay, it's working. And one more thing we have to show some CSS. Uh, okay, so I have added some basic CSS. Whenever we will click, and it must be a bit greenish shade. Let's check it how we can do this. So we have these two parameters here. So we will add a handler here and select voice. Select. We will check if we have voice or not. If we have voice, then set selected, set selected voice, and we will add a voice here. Okay, and okay, we will add it here. On click, let's create an inline function and we'll select, and we will pass this voice so that we know that which voice is selected. Okay, now I have added a condition that if the selected voice name and the current voice name in the loop is same, then we will make the background will be green, and otherwise we will make the same color we have in our background. This is and whenever we will click on it, so we will have this. Let's check it. Let's click on it. Okay, so it discuss green, so it is indicating us that this voice has been selected. We can select this also, this one also, and we can also add some kind of searching here or anything else, so that we can have a better understanding that what's going on. Okay, anything we can select. Okay, we go back. So now our setup has been done. I have added some other CSS also, uh, and now we will handle our the old API, because if we will have a new voice, then we can create with our this dynamic voice. Let's send it here. This is the selected voice we will use, and we will send after the text in our data, and we will go in our server, and okay, we have the body, and we will check the selected voice. So here uh, we have an option that we will check that if we have selected voice available, question mark, we will use our ternary operator, and then selected voice language codes and its zeroth element, because Google gave us an array of these codes, so we will use our the first one, and we will use zeroth or our this code, because it quite possible that anyone can not use our any new voice, so we can use it as a default. And the same like this, we can copy this code, and in this time we will have ssml gender or male, and we will do same with this new case name. Okay. So now we have, and I think everything is set up. So let's try with some new voices. So okay, let's back to our code, and let's say finally we have completed our this lesson. Okay, and let's choose some crispy voice. As we have written in English, so we will use it in English. Fine, if we have eng en dash. Okay, so these are the English voices. Yeah, that's
With cloud machine learning, your application interprets images, texts, and more.
okay. So let's select this, and we will create our speech. It's creating.
Finally, we have completed our React.
Okay, great. Let's check the Australian, any other voice.
With cloud machine learning, your application interprets images, texts, and more.
With cloud machine learning, your application interprets images, texts, and
Okay,
more.
let's select this voice and reconvert.
Finally, we have completed this lesson.
Okay, great. So like this, we can select any voice, convert it again.
Finally, we have completed this lesson.
Okay, great. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and if you really did, so you can also support me to subscribe and like this video. Thank you so much.